You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hi, everybody. It is going to be such a fun day. I have been missing you guys like crazy. I'm so sorry we haven't had Talkin Shop in a while. But we had the chaos of getting ready for the EXP Expo, and I've been moving my shop. And sorry, you get to see weird background today because I am still putting together the broadcast room that I'm going to be using at the shop. And we're out of Wi-Fi for whatever reasons there. It just feels like crazy chaos is always going on whenever you move a shop. I'm excited today because I get to talk to a whole bunch of people to make up for lost time, including awesome member of the EXP himself, Dan Wickline. Come on, Dan. Pop on. Sorry, everybody. Off my A game. Here's Dan.
I apologize for that. I thought that was the commercial.
No, you did it right. I had forgotten we'd do that. I was just so excited to talk to Dan.
It's good to see you, Jen. How you doing?
I am doing so well. I will like to say that I've learned lots of life lessons. It's kind of like when they say that for marriages, the biggest stresses you can do is to move your house or have children or change a job.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I've done all three of those, even though only one of them is true. A lot.
So now you almost set up over there, or?
Yeah, we're open for business in our new spot. It's just the Wi-Fi service that we had chosen just decided to stop working altogether, and they can't figure out why. So we've been trying to figure out a service that we can use. So it's been chaos. But for somebody that uses Wi-Fi as much as we do, or internet service in general, and we're going to make a switch to a POS system that's all in the cloud, so we have to have a good service. So I know your life would also be chaos without Wi-Fi.
Oh man, yeah. I do everything remotely. I don't know what I would do without internet connection of some kind or other,
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I never leave my house anymore. It's all,
It's like, why would you need to leave if you have everything you need?
Exactly. Food gets delivered. That's all you need.
Are you usually like a kind of a more introverted, like to stay at home fellow?
I have been since the pandemic. I used to do a lot more conventions and stuff, but and then I've been having some medical issues with my legs, so I don't walk as much as I have been. So yeah, I've kind of cut back. I haven't done a con since 2019. So, but I do want to get back out there and stuff and get back out and see the actual audience and things. I miss that.
Yeah, there is something wonderful about, people seeing you at the booth and giving you feedback in person that they really do love what you do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and also just interacting with other creators and stuff. I mean, being a writer or being any kind of creative person is such an isolated thing. You spend most of your time alone in a room by yourself. That having coworkers of some kind has that social aspect. So going to a convention, that's where you meet all these people. I used to do a lot of conventions with Tone Rodriguez. We used to drive around the country, and where we go out to we do straight shots through to Dallas or to Seattle and do the shows there, and spend the weekend and drive straight back. And that was always fun. And we get these little families going at these different conventions where you'd see them on a regular basis. And I miss that. I mean, that was always a blast. You'd get in, you see the same people every year, and it just, so I definitely do miss that.
It is fun to do. Like, I like going to conventions and then gathering with people afterward, having the, like the big dinner group is just always so much fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I always loved Wizard World Dallas because the hotel was right next to the convention center.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And everybody went to, and that was like the only thing there. Everything else was a ways away. So everybody went to the sports bar in the hotel after the show. So you basically hung out with all the creatives. You're sitting there, you're like, Dan DiDio's over in the corner and Mark Silvestri's over here. And, it just everywhere you looked, there was somebody from the show. And it was like, it was odd to see somebody who wasn't at the show. The place got filled up so much.
Were you part of the convention scene back when it was called Dallas Fantasy Fair?
I didn't get out there for that. It was Wizard World when I went out there. So
yeah, the Fantasy Fair was like a crazy microcosm of awesomeness. It could have been the middle of the country's like San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con. It was where all the big names went. But it was always on the weekend of Thanksgiving, which was terribly difficult for like travel and all those kinds of things. Like you had to say to your family, sorry, but it worked for a great many years until it didn't.
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, with the way families argue about things, I think having a convention to go to would be a good thing. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, because it wasn't on Thanksgiving itself. So unless you were traveling to go set up, that would be a bad thing. If you had to do the setup, ugh, that would be bad.
Yeah.
So, do you have any favorite conventions that you've gone to over the years?
I'm a huge fan of Phoenix. I went out there the first time I went out there. They were still in Tucson, and I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, I'm going to be in the Phoenix area. Can I get a pro badge so I can come out and check out your show?" And I was talking to Joe Boudry, who's like the vice president of the convention. And he's like, "We don't actually have pro badges. Do you want a table?" I'm like, sure. So I get out there and I'm thinking, this is literally, I'm calling Wednesday and the show's that weekend. So I get out there and Joe meets me at the front, walks me to my table. I'm thinking I'm going to be in the back 40. I'm going to be, there's artist alley tables in the hallways and stuff. But no, they walk me in the main area and I'm sitting next to Josh Middleton, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Amanda Conner. And I'm like, how the hell did this happen? and they had me back for like every year for like a decade. Just, like, yeah, come on back. So it's probably been 2018 was the last time I was out there. But love that show. Love the people that run it. It's just such a great show. And the fans out there, they walk in wanting to spend money, and I mean, I always do well at that show. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. Another one is there's a smaller one out here called Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, out here in LA, and it's put on by guys who used to be part of Wizard World, Mike Sigliano, and a few of them, and that's another really good show. It's growing quickly.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping that there is going to be a return to the true Comic-Con where, they have tons of creative guests.
Yeah.
Instead of, I mean, I love myself a pop culture hero, but it's hard to, like, I want focus, right? I want a pop culture con to go enjoy all my pop culture idols, but for Comic-Con, I want a bunch of bins to go dig through comic books in and to walk up to tables and talk to Dan Wickline.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was going to San Diego since '95, and I watched it grow and grow and grow from where, Hall H wasn't even a thing when I started, and now it's like the comic part of it never got any bigger. Everything else got bigger around it. So the comic thing just looked like it kept shrinking and shrinking. And now, there's so little of it anymore that it just, when the movie theater and the movie companies weren't going, it's like maybe we could get back to it being a Comic-Con again. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Zing Zen from Zingphonic Versus, you see his commercials on our station all the time. He's saying definitely Comic-Cons. Stay comics focused. And I don't even mind if the pop culture people, as long as they're comic adjacent, right? If their stuff is being based on comics, so it points back to the comic books, so people will go and try to find the source material.
Yeah. Well, it's like when Comic-Con had Twilight.
Oh my gosh, that year.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, that was some next level people, showing up a week before the con and sleeping outside stuff. That was
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, some of the worst reports about behavior came from those Twilight people. Like one person stabbed another person with a pencil. It was because they took their seat. I'm like, okay, you're outdoing comic book people. That's bad.
Or when Kim Kardashian went, I don't know that one. I know that oh gosh. Why can't I remember her name? Angelina Jolie, when she showed up, they had escorted her to the sales pavilion to do an autograph session. And they didn't get her to her table before people were jumping over tables and stuff, and they had to escort her right out. Like it was not safe for her. That was a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, Dana, we're talking about fan moments. Have you had any interesting fan moments where people showed up and were like, sign me here so I can get tattooed, or any fun events like that?
Give me one sec. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold. So, one of the weirdest ones for me, this was early on. I remember being in a restroom and having somebody come up, and I realized that when I went in the restroom and I was standing next to Stephen Hughes, the co-creator of Lady Death. And, and I'd met him once before. So I'm just, and somebody comes up and goes, "Excuse me, can I get your autograph?" We're both at the urinal. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at Stephen like, this is obviously for you. And he turns around, looks, goes, "Nope, that's your book." I went, So that's probably the weirdest one for me. But
oh, that's true fandom right there. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm never gonna find Dan alone again when he's got nowhere he can get away from me. That's really sweet. Hey, Kenneth, how are you doing, man?
I think one of the ones I witnessed was I did a free comic book day signing at a horror bookstore in Los Angeles called Dark Delicacies.
I know that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it was myself. It was Steve Niles, who I've co-written a lot of stuff with, and Jeff Johns. And this kid showed up with a duffel bag of books for Jeff to sign. And he took the bus to get there. And he took out these two stacks, and these stacks were like this high, and two of them, like I said, and he put them on the table. And Jeff was like, "You brought all of those all the way here for me to sign." He goes, "Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to sign these. If someone else comes up, I stop and I sign their stuff, and I'll go back to your stuff. And as long as the signing's going, I'll do my best." And Jeff ended up signing every one of the books the guy brought. I was just blown away by that.
What a nice thing to do.
Oh, yeah. At the time, Jeff asked me, he says, "So you writing anything over at DC?" I said, "I can't, Jeff. You're doing all the books."
That's a good burn. That's awesome. So are there any companies you haven't worked for at this point?
I haven't worked for Marvel, and I haven't officially worked for DC. I did some inventories. I was pitching some inventory stories for DC for Joey Cavallari before he left. So they were in the process, and then he ended up leaving, so they never got finished. But most every other company I've done something for. I did some intros for Dark Horse. I've done a bunch of stuff for Image, Dynamite, Top Cow, Shadowline. Yeah.
Such an awesome career that you've gotten to do so many wonderful things, and you're still doing them, which is the awesome thing. It's like, is there retirement from writing? Like, I don't know anyone that retired.
I don't think there is. I think you always have stories to tell. So, I've gotten a little more into doing novels. So, if I stop doing comics, I'll probably just self-publish novels through Amazon or whatever. You know, I've always got a story to tell, so I'm probably always going to have something coming out at some point.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, let's see. This is probably Jay asking, what characters from Marvel and DC would you like to write if you got the chance?
I would love to write Daredevil for Marvel. I actually have a story that I've been wanting to pitch that takes place back in the 60s, because there's a gap in Daredevil's history that I noticed. In like issue 1, he and Foggy start their law firm, and in issue 20, there's a judge who gets kidnapped by the Owl, who refers to Matt Murdock as one of the greatest trial lawyers of our generation. And in between that, he shows up in court twice. Once to defend the Fantastic Four, once to defend Namor. And he doesn't do anything. So I figured there has to be a case that makes this happen. And I know what I want the case to be. It's all about the civil rights movement. I've got this story that I really want to do about Daredevil. And I just got to get a Marvel editor to listen to me for about 10 minutes, and I'll pitch it.
Yeah, because I think that's what you've told me makes me want to read that storyline.
Yeah. And then for DC, I've always been a huge fan of Green Arrow. Yeah, I like the more street level characters. I've never been big into the cosmic or the supernatural stuff. I mean, I can write it. I've written it on other things, but I do like the grounded street level heroes as much as possible.
Makes sense to me. Those are the ones we can identify with more, I think, as readers.
Yeah. They're the ones that stood out to me as a kid, the ones that I kind of connected with. Matt Murdock was being blind, and it's, this accident happens, and, that's the kind of thing that could happen any day. I'm not usually hanging out in places where they're radiating spiders or putting off gamma bombs, but just walking down the street and having a truck crash. Well, that's something that could happen. Yeah.
Zing asks if you've done any Batman, which we can guess no, since you said you hadn't got to do any DC.
I have not done any Batman. I wish. Though I did do Shadowhawk, which is probably kind of a Batman Wolverine mashup. So, and I loved writing Shadowhawk. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that's a character I'm surprised they haven't tapped really for, like, they haven't even rumored him, right?
Yeah.
He's got such a great look, great story.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, I did a little research when I found out the name of your new book is Morgana Le Fay, and I was going, okay, I feel like I know a little about Morgana, but I didn't realize that there's so much history behind the Arthurian legend to make it almost to be indistinguishable from, is this history or not? Did you do the deep dive for all of those kinds of details? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Arthurian legend is based off of actual facts, like Hadrian's Wall, which was a Roman. There's a Roman centurion who's kind of the prototype for Arthur, who defended part of Britain. There's just a lot of it, but the interesting thing is that there's so many takes on the different Arthurian legends that they contradict each other. In some of the writings, Morgana is Arthur's half-sister. And in others, she is part fairy or part fae. She's the mother of Modred. In other ones, she has nothing to do with Modred. So, I mean, it's kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. So when you sit down to do Arthurian legend, you can kind of pick and choose what you want and bend it a little bit to tell the story you want to tell, because that's what everybody's been doing. There's no real hard and fast rules. And what I wanted to do is, if you look at it, Arthurian legend is always told from Arthur's point of view. But Arthur is the son of rape.
Mhm.
Uther Pendragon had Merlin transform him into his enemy, to look like his enemy. And then while his enemy was out on the battlefield with Uther's forces, Uther just made his way into the guy's castle and had his way with his wife. And that's how Arthur came about. So, and Morgana is Uther's first child in some of the legends. So I'm going with that route. So she should technically be the heir to the throne.
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, well, what if she is part Fae and the daughter of Uther, and we tell the story from her point of view, where Arthur isn't the pure, guy that pulls the sword from the stone. Merlin isn't the nice guy that we think he is. We just tell it from Morgana's point of view. And once I started running with that, I realized you can totally twist this thing in many different directions and tell a really fun, dark story. And that's where I'm going with this. We've got the first issue going on the Kickstarter right now through Ethereal Comics. And I got to a friend of mine hooked me up with Dustin Brunel over there. And I pitched him a couple ideas. He goes, okay, I like all of them, but let's go with the Morgana one first. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So, and then I got to reach out to an artist I had been talking to for probably a decade about trying to do something together, Renzo Rodriguez, who is just a fabulous artist. I'd worked with him some over at Zenoscope and got him to come on board, and then it's just going from there. So we got a couple days left on the Kickstarter, but it's doing pretty well. I'm really happy with how it's going.
I think the thing that's I was like, when you see those things, like I was this many days old when I realized something. It's like I've known the name of this person, the character, for a long time, and I've known LaFay is the last part of the thing, but I'd never connected the idea that LaFay is a reference to fairies. Like she is fairy, or sometimes mentioned as like a witch.
Yep,
It's
Morgana of the Fae, and
Mhm.
Marvel's always used her as a villain, kind of a Doctor
Mhm.
Strange villain and stuff like that. So, a lot of people see, I think Elizabeth Hurley played her on the Runaways series for Marvel. But, she's a great character. About, I want to say more than a decade ago, I think HBO or Showtime did an Arthur version that had, I think Ray Fiennes, no, the guy who was in Shakespeare in Love as Shakespeare. He played Merlin, and Eva Green played Morgana. And that really kind of solidified in my head that Morgana is a fun character to play with. And that still kind of resonates in the back of my brain as well. So, but I'm also bringing in some aspects of Celtic mythology into this as well. Because that's that plays into the Arthurian legends as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Camelot and the Morrigan, the bringer of the dead, she makes an appearance in the first issue as well. So yeah, it's just a fun retelling of Arthurian legend from a different point of view.
And so it's all from Morgana's point of view.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I mean, the old saying about there's three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
This is Morgana's version. And like I said, Arthur's not the good guy.
So did you know all about the Arthurian legend beforehand?
Yeah.
And just have always wanted to write it?
Yeah, I've been a fan of Arthurian legend since high school, and maybe even junior high when I first started reading it. I was one of those kids that grew up reading mythology and legends and stuff like that like crazy, whatever I could get my hands on, because I thought they were great stories, just like, they were just early versions of comic books in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
and I think comics actually kind of led me into them, because you'd get stuff like Morgana Le Fay in the Marvel comics, or Hercules and Thor. So, Stan and all of them led us into the different things. And then I'd go into school and they'd be like, okay, we're going to study Greek mythology. I'm like, awesome, let's go. So I always loved that stuff.
I wonder if any of us got a little bit skewed on our actual, mythology because of the versions that we saw. I mean, like Hercules of Marvel is not anything like Hercules.
True. But then you and I are close to the same age. There was that Hercules cartoon we had growing up too.
Yep.
With the ring and all that stuff. And it's like, that wasn't that close either. But
I wonder how many teachers, through the years have just been like, curse the Hollywood wagon that has created these things that I have to like now teach against.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Hercules and Xena didn't do a lot to help either.
No.
But I think what was good about the comics is they opened our mind to those things, so that when we did read them, we were more enticed to read them. Knowing what Thor and Odin and Frigga and all them were, where Norse mythology isn't as popular as some of the Greek and Romans and stuff like that. I mean, you see the Greek stuff more often. You see Percy Jackson and the Olympians and stuff like that, where the Norse stuff is a little more quiet. I mean, now we got 4 movies and stuff, but for a lot of people, that's probably their first actual introduction to Norse mythology.
That might be true. All right, so your Kickstarter is live now. We've got links in the comments so you guys can easily click it. Is this slated to be like a single shot storyline, or is this the launch beginning?
This is the beginning. It's going to be an ongoing. Ethereal does all their books through Kickstarter. There's a handful of stores across the country that carry them. I think there's like 17 right now. So, but they're doing their own distribution setup, and they've only been around for about a year or two. So they're just kind of getting started, but they do these Kickstarters, and they fund their books, and they do a lot of great add-ons. Like we just broke 12,000 the other day, and that's actually going to add pages to the book. Ooh. So I got to write some more pages now.
I think there's worse problems to have.
There definitely is. But and there's a lot of great covers. They bring in a lot of really good artists to do covers. And, they do what a lot of companies now, they have your basic cover, then they have the little more risque covers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different choices you can go from. There's a lot of deals on there where if you really like a cover, you want to get each version of it, you can bundle it that way. If you want to get 3 different covers, there's a bundle package for that. So they do a pretty good job of putting all that together, and it's a tight little company over there. I'm actually going to be doing more stuff with them. I'm now on board as their story editor as well, so I'll kind of have my hands in on all the stories they put out, overseeing them and kind of keeping the overall stories going. How we want them to go.
Well, that's a smart move on their part because you've got some definite technical skills for editing.
Well, thank you. So, but yeah, if you guys get a chance to check it out, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys, you know that we're all about supporting the independent creative voice, even though Dan is definitely not what I would call anymore an independent creator. He's worked for just about everybody. But, this is a story he wants to tell, and it sounds like a really great point of view for the story. So go out there and do what you guys do best and support this awesome project. And we appreciate that you guys always do show up and listen so that you know what to support. All right. Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully we'll get to hear about your other projects that I'm sure are coming out from them. As you said, you had many, many more ideas if this is the first. So.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, lots of them. So, but thank you for having me on, and I hope you get your store all settled quickly.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thanks. Everyone, stick around. Coming up next, we get to talk to Marvin Wynn and I don't know, maybe a couple other people from the awesome people at Comicsburg. We'll see you guys in a second.
You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Why was Princess Zelda sad after watching a bunch of YouTube videos? She couldn't find the link in the description. We'll stop if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Click subscribe and click the bell when you do. And thanks for supporting the EXP.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Experience. This is a reminder. People find our shows and our programming by you guys liking and sharing and subscribing, and we're always super thankful when you guys do that. We are very appreciative, and that's how we've gotten the cool community that we've got here. So I am super excited about these next guests because I get to see these guys in Pittsburgh closer to the end of this month at Comics Pro, which is the big professional comic book organization gathering that goes on once a year and just is kind of like the way things get moving and shaking in our industry. And I got to see them last year. Here is some of the creative teams from Comicsburg. Yay! DP made it.
I made it. Appreciate you, Jen. How you doing? I've seen you in a while. How you doing?
Oh, did you wear that because of me?
Ever, as always.
Oh my goodness. Are you guys gonna have good weather for me when I come? Because I don't do well with cold.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like snow and rain.
I'll layer up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Pittsburgh though, so if somebody shakes the snow globe, it might change because this city is like the city of weather changes every minute. So you never know.
Last week we had like 20, like 15 inches or whatever. This week we got like 60, like 50 degrees and stuff. So it's up and down. So we were hoping that you're going to bring like the good weather over to us.
I feel like we did last year. I feel like it was really nice that no snow while we were there, and it was just it was chilly, but it was beautiful.
Oh, we had that one day where it was 60, and it was so weird. Like in between 30s and 40s, and then one day it's 60, and then it goes back into the 40s again. So that's Pittsburgh. That's what we get.
Yeah, I do have to say it is a beautiful city. I had never been before, or at least not since I was like maybe I came when I was a kiddo. But I really love I don't know, there's just kind of like a life to that downtown area that it just seems wonderful. Like there are people going to concerts and to sporting events. Yeah. Everyone seemed safe and happy.
Yeah. It's changed a lot over the years and everything. And it's definitely gotten better. So you got there at a good time and to see the best of, or the best of what the Pittsburgh downtown has to offer. And we got a lot more things too.
Oh, this time I think we'll go abroad. We'll get out of just like the downtown area.
Yeah. Well, we've got an event Thursday night, so keep your calendar open. So I'll put it into once we get into the app. We were supposed to get it today. We didn't get it today. So once we get in there, we're doing a release party for DP's book.
And this maybe I did see something about it. This is at a local.
Yeah, the Poetry Lounge.
Yeah, it's called the Poetry Lounge. So release party for my book. So you definitely got to come, Jen. Definitely got to come. We definitely love to have you, get you there. On that Thursday night, February the 22nd, Plan on having like, live bands and everything, and, as a bar and stuff there. So I think everybody have a good time, especially if you're into comics.
Absolutely. And I've been to very many comic book launch things, and they're always so much fun because you get to, talk to the people that are actually on the creation of the book, and they're super happy about it because they're done. Now they just want to get it into people's hands.
Right.
That's always the hard part, right?
So I put some links into the chat. Are you putting those into the description?
They'll definitely put those in.
So we've got 2 Kickstarters. DPs is live now, so that's for Theme of Thieves issues 1 through 4. So I'll let him tell you about that.
Yeah.
So tell us all about this. You're already up to issue 4, so you've got a fully realized universe and
fully. I was blessed to make it to 4. I start out with the first and everything. Like, am I going to even get that far? So yes, I'm up to 4. So it's called The Theme of Thieves. It's about 2 teens and a mysterious being. They're traveling through time and they're trying to solve a mystery why people are disappearing in the present. So if you're into Lost, if you're into like Quantum Leap, if you're into like The Wire, I sort of like mix it up with like sci-fi with a little bit of social commentary and everything. Those are like 3 of my favorite TV shows. So I decided to put them all in a gumbo and actually spit it out to the consumers to see what they think about it.
All right. So how does the time travel part work? Because I've been watching documentaries about can time travel work. I'm always interested what people use. Is it a machine?
It's not a machine. So this guy, his name is the Man in the Red Suit. We're slowly like teasing him through like the first 3 issues, and then he finally makes his appearance. In like issue 3, full-fledged appearance. So no spoilers and everything, but I think the audience will think it's pretty cool when he actually comes about. But he actually has like the power to like travel in time. So he takes our protagonists, Rebecca and Jason. They're like 2 teens, coming of age, 16 years old and everything, in high school. Rebecca, she's like real strong-willed, real, sort of like gets into like different things, but she's real loyal. She's real strong-willed. She is biracial and everything. And Jason, he's being bullied in school. He also gets berated by his father and everything. So he's going through some intense stuff at home. But they both go to the same high school, and one hangs out in one crowd, the other one hangs out in another crowd. And then once crazy stuff starts happening in school, things started happening when this Man in the Red Suit actually eventually takes them through like and starts like the time travel journey in like the 3rd issue. So I sort of spend the first 3 issues building the characters, until we actually get to our moment where we go into like our hijinks and stuff.
So people have just started to just randomly disappear, like all en masse in our current timeline, or just a little bit at a time?
So great question. So this phenomenon is called evanescence. It's been happening since the 1800s. Evanescence, if you've heard of the band, it's not that, but evanescence means to disappear. So that's what the phenomenon is called in my my universe and everything. So it's been happening since like the late 1700s, early 1800s, but it's been escalating with like 1 or 2 people all the way up to like groups of people to like the present day. So this thing that's been happening in a universe is sort of like a way of life, sort of like death. If you sitting down to at Thanksgiving with dinner with one of your family members, all of a sudden one of them disappears, and it's a whole bunch of things start happening with how you feel about it. How does a person react to it? How does a person respond to that? How does society, how does the politics relate to that? How does religion deal with certain things like that? This is like that's sort of like the myth, maybe a little bit, but this is sort of like just the way of life that people go through and have to deal with along with their everyday, just going about their everyday, walks of life and stuff.
That would be a really kind of like deep look at things. Like I can imagine that people would bring up like, oh, good, I'm glad that guy's gone. Or what did they do to deserve it? That you might have that kind of thing. Like the rest of the family has to put up with like going, no one deserved anything. We were just having dinner.
I mean, you have like, your different, we don't really call them like funerals and everything, but you have like different sort of like mourning periods and stuff, because something has happened, and if you actually witness the incident and everything, that this thing that didn't happen to Evanescence, they're not coming back, or at least that's what we think so far with like the stuff. But my characters are trying to find out. Well, they eventually start like delving into like finding out different secrets as to why this thing has happened, and hopefully they can come to some sort of resolution as to why. And sort of why this is happening, and solve it for once they get back into the present. So it's a long, like I said, I'm on issue 4. The plan is to do 24 issues, but if I get some stories up to get it even further, I will keep it going and everything. But I got a lot of ideas, especially on like a lot of the social commentary that comes along with having to deal with this phenomenon and stuff.
ODP, we need to talk when I see you in Pittsburgh. I've got such an idea that's true crime related.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah. You got people who actually commit crimes and blame it on the fact that Evanescence happened. But yes, it is.
That's what I'm thinking. There would be a really nice space for serial killer in here.
A lot of events going on and everything. But yeah, definitely. So yeah, I got my Kickstarter going on right now. Were you about to say something, Marvin?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I got my Kickstarter going on for like the first 4 issues and everything. Am I able to like present the let me see the slide here to like share the screen?
You might be able to share it to private chat, or maybe Jay.
Yeah, they're all in the private chat. I think he wants you if you can bring it up. Or
is it?
I'm sure Jay's figuring it out right now.
So I actually started trying to share it. I don't know if you guys can accept the share. Let me see here. There we go. Okay.
Very good.
Yep. All right. So basically this is the Kickstarter here. So I got 18 more days left. And I'm already past like the 1,000 mark. I'm only asking for like $1,650 dollars to get to goal and everything. But I got like a lot of time left. But it's still time to get your your backing in and everything. And I got like different tiers that you can actually reward or actually back, as far as like the first issue tier. I think you got this one like last year, Jen. The 4th issue, here's the cover for that right here. You guys seeing all this?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So got a really great response from this issue 4 cover with like this is when our characters go to like the Salem witch trials period and everything. So I get into like different elements of that and things that happened back then with like the quote unquote witches and everything. But these are like the first 4 issues 1 through 4, which you see here. And like I said, I'm really inspired by like Lost, Quantum Leap, and Noir. I'm a big Watchmen fan and everything, so love mysteries as far as that. So yeah, we got that going on. Once you get into the Kickstarter, you get to see the panels of the first issue of where a lot of things started. And then sort of like, the dark artwork was done by Dan Eakes. So he's actually from the Pittsburgh area here. Shout out to Dan. He's done some really great stuff like Odyssey Inc. and his stuff, and Tales from the from Madness and everything. So he did like a lot of the artwork for me as far as the first 2 issues. And then Ruben Gonzalez, he's my current artist for issues 3 and 4. Which is where this panel is from here, and what you see here. And he's actually he actually does some work from like Marvel Comics. He did like Ant-Man season 1. He did some independent stuff like Transformers. So he's done some really good work as far as that. Really came through for me as far as like the getting like the elements of like the characters and everything with all this. And there you see like the man in the red suit. You know,
Oh,
he's
there he is.
kind of like in the third issue and everything. So this is what awaits the people for like issue 4. So Rebecca finally, gets into interaction because she's been dreaming about this guy, for so long, and she finally actually gets to meet him by the time issue 4 comes up. So you get to see all that, and like I said, I got some really great tiers that you guys can, get behind and everything. I'm offering free shipping for everything. Okay, so whichever tier that you want to back, there is free shipping for it. I have a catch up, tier for the digital stuff, right around like $20. So if you don't want to get the physical stuff, you could get like the first 4 issues digitally. And then I got signed editions. We got our Comicsburg. So Martin, I don't know if you've seen this one, but we got our Comicsburg bundle where you can actually get all 4 of Theme of Thieves, The Edge, Herrenberg, and also Beowulf by Grant Lankard. Right in this bundle right here, the physical signed copies of all 4 of our issues right there. So yeah, we got a lot of good stuff. So you guys check out the Kickstarter there and get us a goal.
How much time do you have left on that DP?
18 days left.
Yeah,
so I'm in the middle of like that thing.
Right. Don't hesitate on it. You got 18 days to jump on that.
Yep. 18 days.
Can you bring up Grant?
Yeah, let me bring up Grant's right quick. Was he gonna pop on here at all?
He didn't respond, so I'm gonna say no. So I told him we would cover him. So
yeah, so Grant's I don't think has started yet.
Yeah, I think he's gonna launch on the 12th.
Is this the League of Cryptids one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the League of Cryptids. Yeah. So basically, let me see here.
Yeah, it's Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, the Jersey Devil, and Chupacabra join together to defend Earth from an alien attack.
Okay. Yep. And he's already at like 114 followers. So guys, if you're on if you want to get some good, horror elements mixed with like, your classic monster stuff and everything, you definitely got to check out like, the League Cryptids. Grant writes some really good stuff. He's with our Comicsburg stuff. Jen, you'll see him when we come down, when you come over in Pittsburgh, the Comics Pro and everything. So you get a chance to meet him because he wasn't at the one last year. So you're definitely going to get a chance to meet him and get all his antics and stuff with that. But definitely give him a follow with his project here. He's definitely doing some really good stuff. And he's, like I said, also the writer and creator of Beowulf as well, who's done really well for Comicsburg with us.
Right. If you haven't heard it or seen it, if anybody hasn't seen that, so his Beowulf is the legendary hero reborn in modern times as a slacker. And
slackers.
He's a slacker. This book starts with him getting fired from his job. But he's the reincarnation of the Beowulf character. So he has a magical talking cat who was an ancient wizard from that time, and there's a teenage girl who owns the cat, and they have to teach him how to become the legendary warrior again, so he could fight the dragon.
Oh, there we go. There's some great images.
Yep. Yeah, this is the cover to issue 5, I believe, and everything. So he's actually on his last issue of Beowulf, and I think the Kickstarter with that just ended, right, Marvin?
Yeah, I think it ended in a couple months ago.
Okay. Yep. So
I love that some of the offerings he had for the Kickstarter were like a special like kitty cat card.
We're trying to I've been trying to talk. I've talked them into it, and we're trying to figure out how to do the name of the cat is Mooney. Do Mooney plushes, and I think that everybody on the earth would want one.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone that wouldn't want it. Kitties always sell.
Oh yeah.
He's got that cool. Was that called dichromia? When they have different colored eyes.
Different color eyes, yeah.
Very cool. And then Marvin, you've got the awesome book, The Edge. Where are you with that story?
So we just finished up the first story arc. With Revenant. We kind of take him off the board, and then we're jumping into issue 5. This is issue 5 here, where it's the character is called Chaos, and his team is called the Reign. So it's the Reign of Chaos. So it has two meanings.
Mm-hmm.
So, and each one of these characters are named after fallen angels. So we'll let people figure out why that is as the story goes along. But for those who don't know, the story is The Edge is a drug, and it's very similar in the veins of what you used to get from X-Men, Wildcats, and books like that. But the drug gives them powers, but it slowly drives them insane or kills them. So the more they use the powers, the more it starts to affect them. You see the character Chaos there, he's infected. So half his body is starting to turn as the infection spreads.
So is the drug that they're taking, is it something that, I'm trying to think of it, does it hit like a virus, like you can accidentally spread it to somebody else? Or is it you like to literally have to take a pill?
That's kind of spoilers a little bit, but I'll say that it can be passed to another person.
Interesting. Well, that's scary because you then you can accidentally infect someone and make them crazy. That's not good.
Exactly. they might even skip the power stage, you just go insane. So the way I've written it is that there's consequences to everyone gets the power, there's a consequence to it. So one of our characters, Blaine, he has the ability to create like shield bearers, like Invisible Woman, but we take it a step further where there's no oxygen in that bubble.
Oh.
So as he's breathing, he's building up CO2, which means that if he doesn't drop it, he'll suffocate.
So it definitely has a time limit.
Yes. So imagine that your ability is to build a barrier around you and someone throws you in the water.
Oh man.
And then the character on the right there, Vol, yes, she is wearing an alien creature as her costume.
Oh, it is hugging her, huh?
Yes. It's a dormant alien that is kind of taking life with her. So that's just a little bit of hint of what's going on with these other characters, is that they may be infected by something else also.
Ooh, I like it. What a
And
great
this is our old trailer.
All they know is that it's coming for. They don't know what it is, can explain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. They don't know what it is, can contain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. They don't know if it's real. Top secret classified. But when it comes for you better run and hide. They don't know what it is, can't explain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. They don't know what it is, can't contain it. All they know is that it's coming for you. Blame, mystic, interim, randa, him, chip, tandra. Blame, mystic, interim, randa, him, chip, tandra.
I like that track, man.
Let's just say it's always good to have other talented people in the family that can do that kind of stuff.
Who wrote that?
That's my cousin. She does the vocals, yes. So I said it's always good to have talented people
in the building. Let me see.
Was that DP?
You guys are you guys are Pittsburgh proud, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
It stands out. So, it does.
Yep.
People immediately recognize it when it's the black and the gold in the bridge. You guys are from Pittsburgh, like it's in the logo, man. Comicsburg, not with that H at all. That's the signifier that we're from Pittsburgh. Because it's there's a Pittsburgh in every state. We're the only ones that has an H.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Pittsburgh, every state.
I do know that for the times I've visited, that you guys are very sports centric, and red and black is yellow and black is everywhere.
Well, just to know that one of our goals is to try to shift a lot of those sports people into the arts and comics. Like we've already teamed up with a local wrestler that's going to be our spokesperson, and we're going to be doing things with their wrestling organization now.
Oh, how wonderful. You guys are so smart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that crossover. Like, it's like wrestling and comics go together. Wrestlers and superheroes. It's a perfect thing that mixes together. So the character is called Yenza because, you know, Yens is a Pittsburgh thing. So he's going to be joining as one of the characters in The Edge also.
All right. So what does that mean to someone from Pittsburgh?
A Yens?
Yeah.
Like, it's like y'all or you or you guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I get it now.
Yeah. Whenever you're here, you hear, hey, it's Yens guys, that kind of stuff.
Yens guys. Okay. I'm going to have to get used to that one. I haven't heard that one.
Right. Because we don't use it. That's why you didn't.
Okay.
Like you have to go to certain parts of the city for people to hear Yens.
So what else are you guys excited about for your comic brand? Do you have something else in the far future that you can kind of tease?
So I mean, we're trying to dip our toes into a lot of different things and see what sticks. You know, we had a good 2023. We want to have an even better 2024. So like I said, is that we're doing the stuff with the wrestling organization. That's I think that's going to be a big get for us. So that's where we're focusing in on right now. But for everything else, we're just keeping on. Like we're all of us are in, except for Herrenberg, are in previews. We're looking forward to what IVC2 is going to bring to the board.
Yep.
As far as direct to shops. I mean, that could be very helpful. We're hoping to get word back from Lunar about joining that piece too. Like we want to try to get into all the barriers and things. So, and then we have our big show in June, Three Rivers Comic Con. We'll be doing our panel again, Script the Store, which we've been doing at a few other shows, just telling people how to get a comic from written script and get it onto a store shelf.
That's brilliant because there are so many people that have the fire in their belly to do comics and be creative that way, but it's just such a hard industry to break into and understand. It's a little easier with the advent of like Kickstarter and things like that, but
well, it's a little easier thanks to the advent of the internet, or as the internet progressed. Because when I started, we were America Online, and we had no idea what we were doing. Like we were talking about we want to do comics, we want to be like Marvel, we want to be like Image, and had no idea what we had to do to actually get a book printed and into a store. Like we had no idea. We didn't know about the formatting and the DPI on the book and the color ratios. I'm like, man, if I didn't known all that back then, I probably would have started earlier. But what we want to do now is make sure that people don't struggle like that, and then they have all that information readily available so that's why we started what we call the Indie Network, to make sure that people know, hey, go to this group, go to this website, and all that information is ready for you.
Oh, that's perfect. All right. We have run out of time and I'm sad, but I am happy I get to see you guys in just a couple of short weeks. So
can't wait to see you.
for being with us.
Thank you.
You guys definitely go and support those awesome Kickstarters. Go and hit those links and stick around because we get to see our good friend Ken Hazer in the Comic Collectibles show that's coming up next, which means there's probably going to be some original art available from him because that's the way he rolls. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here, and we'll see you guys next time for Talkin Shop.
Thanks for having us, Jen.
Thanks, DP. Bye. Thanks, Marvin.
Join the party. Head over to our Linktree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.